Hello everybody, my name is Chip Walden, and today I'm going to talk about the blood moons and eclipses that mark our destiny, if you will. There's a lot of interesting things about blood moons and solar eclipses in relation to the Bible. So let's dive in there and let's see what we could find out. I want to show you on this slide that at 1948 and between 1948 and 1950, 1949 and 50 to be exact, there were a series of 4 blood moons that fall on Jewish festivals, Jewish holidays pointed in the Bible. As you could see there, April 13, 1949 was Jewish Passover. At that time, there was a blood moon. A number of months after that, we had Feast of Tabernacles, which is a very interesting feast. It's a feast representing when God is with us. And apparently, there was a blood moon on that date as well. Then the following Jewish Passover was a blood moon, and the following Feast of Tabernacles. Feast of Tabernacles in the Hebrew language is called Sukkot. So you got Passover, Sukkot, Passover, Sukkot. So you had 4 rare blood moons on 2 holidays within 2 years. And that's what it's known as the tetrad. So we had a tetrad 1948, 1950. What does that mean? What that means is it's an indication to the world that something big happened in Israel. And what could that be? As you could see there on the slide, Israel became a nation. It was born in 1948. Some say maybe 1949 due to the war armistice, the peace treaty. But in May 14, 1948, Israel became a nation. There was a war. Israel was attacked by many enemies. And about a total of 15,000 people died. And Israel became a nation. And it was marked by 4 blood moons. So that's a very interesting date for us. And again, the blood moons didn't occur prior to that since somewhere around 1400 AD. So many hundreds of years have passed, and then we had these a series of tetrads. So did they happen again? Yeah, in actuality, they did. 1967 were 2 on the same 2 holidays. In 1968 there was 2 on the same 2 holidays. And that of course marks the 6-day war in which Israel was surrounded and was attacked. Even though Israel in 48 became its own nation, they did not control Jerusalem. In this war, the 6-day war in 1967, solidified their control of Jerusalem. And it was marked by 4 blood moons. So 4 blood moons, the tetrads, marked when Israel became a nation in 48, and it marked when Jerusalem was captured in 67. Very rare. So it's almost like a funnel. In 1948, blood moons, Israel became a nation, and then 67, blood moons, Jerusalem was captured. So where are we going with this funnel? Do we have another series of blood moons? And as of this date, yeah, we do, and it's coming. Now it's weird, in this war too, about 15,000 people died. But this time only 700, mostly civilians from Israel died. The rest were the enemy. They had series of terrible losses. But we do have another series of blood moons, as you can see right there. 2014 in April, this Passover, same holidays. Series of blood moons, there it is. As you could see there, April 15, October 8, April 4, and September 28. What does that mean? As you can see in the picture there, I believe it's going to be the temple. The Temple Mount, the temple will start being built, in my opinion, due to the pattern of the funneling. So if we have Israel and then Jerusalem, the next is the temple. And that's what the Jews hold so dear, the 3rd temple. Interesting enough, this Hanukkah, which happens also to be Thanksgiving in the United States, has Comet Ison flying by. And we should see Comet Ison very bright in the sky, even during the daylight. Some scientists believe it'll be 15 times as bright as the moon during the day. In January as well, following that January, where we should be flying so close to the tail that has already, at the time, Ison is already heading towards deep space. However, it left in our orbital trajectory. It's very close. When the Earth passes, it might pass through its tail, which leaves the story in the Bible of the stars falling in January. Interesting when we'll see. I do not believe Ison is wormwood, but I believe it's the last warning shot we have. But that would be a video at another time. But Hanukkah, we're going to have the comet over there, Comet Ison. Interesting to watch. And then a few months later that, you have the blood moon starting. Interestingly, what I didn't show you, April 15, here, get my mouse there. This date there is a blood moon, and 15 days after is a partial eclipse. 15 days after is a partial eclipse. Why is that important? Because the next blood moon is Feast of Tabernacles on October 8. And what are the odds that 15 days after that is another partial eclipse? But the next one is the Jewish Passover. 15 days before is Jewish New Year, is a total eclipse. And then the next blood moon, 15 days before, in the Feast of Trumpets, is another eclipse. So 15 days after, 15 days after, 15 days before, 15 days before. It's almost like an arrow or reverse funnel. They all point to a certain date towards in January. Don't know what's going to happen there, but it's interesting to watch. But this eclipse here is telling us, these eclipses and blood moons are telling us something big is going to happen in Israel. Now, the last set of tetrads, 15,000 people died each. If I was a betting person, which I'm not, I would say at least 15,000 people are going to die. And both of the tetrads before was an Israel win. Land was conquered. I believe by late quarter 2013, the last of the few months there, plus up to April of next year, 2014, that Israel will be involved with the war. Most likely we will see Iran getting involved. It may start the war. Israel may bomb the nuclear facility there. Syria will get involved. Most likely Israel may destroy Damascus. Isaiah, I believe 17, cites Syria and Damascus being destroyed. Why did the Bible show Damascus being destroyed? Simply because it is the oldest city in the world that had people living in it continually. Never a break. So by saying that city will be destroyed is definitely a big point, an exclamation mark, that God knows the future. So expect Damascus, the Syrian war, the Damascus being destroyed in this war. Expect Iran being beaten up. I expect Israel to gain land. If Russia gets involved, you're going to see Russia getting spanked as well. Very interesting. So we got an interesting time to watch. And then I believe the temple is going to start being built around this time, and that will bring in the Antichrist. Now, you may not believe any of that. You may believe, oh, that's by chance. The blood moons, I don't believe that. It's coincidental. And God doesn't operate that way. Interesting comments. But let me show you my final slide, and you tell me. You see, blood moons were back in Israel at the time that Jesus was crucified. God used blood moons to show Israel that disaster was coming, that they killed his son. As you could see there, Passover, April, a year before Jesus died, was a blood moon. And Jesus was in Jerusalem, and I expect that he saw that blood moon. Feast of Tabernacles, God with us that day, blood moon. And then, of course, Passover at April 3, 33 AD. What happened there? Jesus was crucified on Passover. What happened? Well, we had the place suddenly got dark. The land got dark by either a partial or full eclipse. Then you also have that blood moon that night. And then the following September, blood moon. So if God is using blood moons and eclipses to show when Jesus was crucified, and then he uses blood moons and eclipses to show when Jerusalem becomes a nation again after 2,000 years, and then he shows blood moons and eclipses to show that Jerusalem is part of Israel. 2014, 2015 series of blood moons, what he's going to show? The completion, the temple being built. And that will bring the Antichrist in. We have a lot to look forward to. We got a lot to watch. I suggest reading Matthew 24. I suggest reading Mark 13 and Luke 21. And of course, Revelation 6. Very, very important. And you'll see another series of videos on that. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you understand how important blood moons and eclipses are. I expect you keep your eyes up and looking up into the sky and wait for our God. He's coming for us. And I wish you well. God bless you. Bye-bye.